Yo, so today I'm making a video on a pretty controversial figure as of late, but I'm trying to make videos about all the guys that I know a lot about first, and I've been watching Miz pretty actively for the past, 3 years, so why not? I was put on to Miz by one of my best friends, Sir Boob. Well, former best friend now. He left me for his Discord kid. But as you can see, he looks and acts like the average Mizkif viewer. But he literally idolized Mizkif for the longest time before he dedicated his life to his kitten. But I eventually ended up checking him out, and for some reason I took a liking to Miz's content. But anyways, let's go. Matthew, I was about to say his real last name, but I don't want to dox him, was born February 14th, 1995 in New Jersey. Mizkif was an ADHD-ridden child and was extremely obnoxious and even got expelled from his school in first grade because he refused to wear the tie to his uniform.
Dude, what is wrong with me? I'm a content god! Dude, what am I doing? I don't understand what I'm doing! What the fuck?! I'm licking my shit! What the hell?! I never saw this! Oh my god! In first grade, I got kicked out. I got kicked out because I hated the principal, and I would never wear my tie. Because you're forced to wear a tie in Catholic school, and I never would wear a tie.
Mizkif has an older brother and claims to be the brother of OnlyFans model and porn star Emily Renato. 90% of Mizkif's audience actually thinks that his last name's Renato, but in reality, they aren't actually related, and they only just really look similar.
That right now. It's not just a P.O. box
big
string.
fan, grats
It's
on the
not.
GTR. I'm a premium sub to you.
What?
It's that. Oh my gosh, I'm just kidding. Keep talking, keep talking.
Mizkif graduated from college with his bachelor's degree and stated that he wouldn't have done it without his excessive use of Adderall. This would later give him the heart condition myocarditis. Mizkif had a job lined up at Vanguard right out of college, but he felt that he couldn't do or accomplish anything without his Adderall. This ended up forcing him down a completely different career path.
Well, thankfully Twitch panned out because I would be on Adderall today for sure. But what happened was I had a heart attack, pretty much. I had this viral myocarditis thing, and it caused me to pretty much, if I started taking Adderall after it, I would have, my heart could have given out at any time. And the doctor told me that, you shouldn't take Adderall anymore. So I was pretty much told that I can't be into finance because I can't take
cocaine.
Yeah. And those two things go hand in hand.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mizkif started streaming in about 2016 to 0 viewers for quite a long time. So Mizkif took to YouTube and started making satire documentaries about streamers with blatantly wrong information. This channel would be called Mizkif Documentaries. Mizkif made a documentary about Erob221's less famous brother, Tyler 1.
The story of Tyler 1 is a story filled with love, hate, betrayal, and forgiveness. Twitch celebrity Erob221's brother, Tyler 1, was born on March 6, 1995 in the backseat of a Pontiac G6 in Missouri. So how did Tyler go from a local football star to a toxic league streamer? On Tyler's 14th birthday, he received a gift from his estranged father. Tyler's dad had left him at a young age and moved to East LA, so this was the first gift Tyler ever got from him. The gift was a Logitech G430 with a strange code on the box. The code was for a free character unlock in the up-and-coming game called League of Legends.
Erob ended up reacting to the video on stream, which blew Mizkif up and brought a ton of attention to him. Mizkif's documentaries gained so much hype and popularity that one of the biggest streamers at the time, Ice Poseidon, took notice and asked Miz to fly to LA to record a documentary for him. After hanging out with Ice and his crew, Ice's audience really took a liking to Mizkif since he added a lot of witty humor and sarcastic comments to his streams. Mizkif eventually became a cameraman for Ice, where Ice's stream fell in even more love with Mizkif, to the point where Ice even asked Miz to move to LA to be a part of Ice's stream full time.
Do you want a blowjob? No.
Miz ended up turning that offer down, saying that he didn't want to rely on anyone else for his success, and looking back, this is probably the best gamble he could have taken, seeing that Ice is canceled for being racist and doing crypto scams and shit. Mizkif would then religiously watch streamers to just learn how they do it, and how the algorithm works, pretty much every single detail to use to his advantage. Miz would slowly build up his audience, mostly playing World of Warcraft all day, but eventually Mizkif got on the Scuff podcast with Trainwrecks in 2018 with guys that would play a serious role in Miz's career later on, like Asmongold, S-Fand, and Lakari.
Next,
We have Mizkif. Some of you know him as Mischief. Just kidding. I just made that up. Mizkif right here with the pretty eyes. Pretty eye Mizkif. Mic huge like an air traffic controller. And we're in here. Mizkif. Hearts in chat for Mizkif. His knees up. God knows if he's wearing pants. I don't know.
Everyone watching the stream and in the podcast immediately fell in love with Miz and his sense of humor. Shortly after being on the podcast, Mizkif was invited to many events such as the Rostular, where he would have several female streamers competing for his love.
I have a question for Mizkif. Do you have a big dick?
Oh.
Or wait, do you have a big, or do you have an average or big dick? Because I can tell.
I love candy.
Do you see how I act? I obviously have a lot of insecurities. No, I obviously do not have a big dick.
You don't. I think you do. Like you have the body type for like a guy.
Hold on, give me a sec. Yo, E-Rob. Yeah, she actually thinks I have a big dick.
But in 2019, Mizkif took some kind of medicine to help him sleep, and he suddenly had a seizure and he had to be rushed to the hospital. He was admitted into a psych ward after telling paramedics he thought he was going to die.
It's Sunday night. I'm dead tired. My rhythm is off in my heart. Everything's fucked up, okay? My heart was racing like crazy, and I was just like, all right, I need to sleep. He gave me a pill to try to help me sleep, so I'm like, okay, I trust this kid. I've trusted him my whole life. He's like, it helps me sleep. He says, when I go on planes, he's like, I panic, and I take these pills, and I pass out. So I said, okay, cool. I'm like, Peepo, sleep. I'm about to go to bed. It felt fucking great. All of a sudden, chat, I feel like I'm gonna die. I'm about to fall asleep. I start doing this. Literally just, I'm no troll. Just start doing that. I call my dad. I'm like, holy fuck, Dad. I've never felt like this before. He called an ambulance comes. I'm sitting there in an ambulance shaking like this, and my dad gets there. He's like, what the fuck are you doing? And I said to my dad while we were in there, this is all, I'm gonna tell you the truth. This is all the truth. While it's happening, I go to my dad and I say, Dad, I feel like I'm going to die. Here's what happens when you say that in an ambulance. They have to take that seriously. I can't just say that and they can go la-di-da. Here you go. Once you say that anything about death like that, you are liable. So while I'm sitting there shaking, they're like, yo, dude, can I get your autograph or my Steam profile? So I signed it, not knowing what I'm signing. All he told me was, yo, you are going to see a psychiatrist. I'm perfectly fine with that. I'm like, I'm just sitting there. They say, okay, you ready to go to see your psychiatrist? I said, sure. They said, okay, this is where things get interesting. We're gonna transfer you to the other hospital now. The fuck does that mean? What the hell's the other hospital? Where am I going? They're here to pick you up. Who the hell's here? Who's picking me up? These two jacked ladies walk up right to me and go, you ready to go with me and Canute? When the chat spams tryhard, we are going to put you away for a few days. I'm like, what the hell's happening? Can we have your phone and your headphones, please? What is going? Why are you taking? Where am I going? Oh, they didn't tell you? Nope. What's going on? You're going to a psych ward.
Mizkif stated that the time that he spent in the psych ward was probably the worst time of his life, sending him into a deep depression. But of course, then there was the infamous discovery of Maya Higa. Back in 2019, Maya in her first stream was trying to build her PC and was failing miserably. Clips of her went viral all over the livestream fails subreddit. Mizkif took notice of this and ended up talking to her on his streams and even started talking to her a lot off stream.
You, like I said, you're like, actually, when I think of Twitch, you're probably the nicest girl I've ever seen here. Because you're so innocent. You have no idea what the hell's going on. Like, you just, I don't know if you realized it. You thanked a one viewer host.
Yeah. What? Of course. What do you mean?
Eventually, he and Maya met in real life and officially started dating. Mizkif would not be where he is today without Maya. He would milk her as much couples content he could out of her, and it worked wonders. But unfortunately, in September 2021, Miz and Maya had a mutual breakup, but both of them went on to still be very successful on their own. This breakup was far from drama-free though. Maya ended up venting on her stream about how she felt that Miz was replacing her presence with fellow female streamer Emaru.
I've been in like a huge world of hurt for the past couple months because I'm going through a breakup, right? Normal. I tried very hard to emphasize that this had nothing to do with Emmy, that I like her, that it's not her fault at all. It's really just not her fault. And I'm sorry to Emmy, and I'm sorry to Miz for talking about it in the first place. Emmy should feel comfortable, and she should feel welcome in Austin, just like everybody else. Emmy's very nice. I don't have a problem with her. It is not her fault. It's unfortunate that our situation is so complicated, and that she's just tucked into the layers, with all of us. But she shouldn't have to be uncomfortable, and she shouldn't have to get any shit just because I'm hurt because I'm dealing with a breakup. It's not fair to her.
But Mizkif would go on to become one of the founders of the org OTK along with Asmongold, S-Fan, Rich Campbell, and Tips in October 2020. This org recently has had its fair share of controversies, but regardless, it is one of the most successful content orgs. Mizkif would then host several game shows such as Schooled and Parasocial, which were pretty huge hits, and he still does them to this day. But in September 2022, just a few months ago, tragedy had struck for Mizkif. Serious allegations and accusations had arisen, accusing Mizkif of covering up possibly multiple sexual assaults for his best friend and former streamer, Crazy Slick. And to top everything off, everyone was leaking Mizkif saying racial slurs and the N-word like 4 or 5 years ago, even by the man who put him on initially, Ice Poseidon. Everyone was piling on Miz, and he had lost a lot of connections, most notably his relationship with the W community, who were growing quite fond of him before all of this had surfaced. Mizkif had been very open about his edgy past, but this was the first time the general public had seen it. Miz ended up taking a break and was put on leave from OTK for months. There was an investigation done by a third party to verify if Mizkif really did cover up sexual assault, and he was not found guilty. But of course, people who didn't like Mizkif were not a fan of this conclusion. Mizkif was then let back into OTK and has been doing his normal thing the past couple of weeks. As I'm recording this, Mizkif is banned for DMCA, which he got from hate watchers spam reporting him for watching the TLC show, which several other popular streamers also watch but don't get banned for. The thing that really separated Miz from other streamers aside from his humor was his ability to make connections and get along really well with anyone that he would bring on stream. And hopefully he can continue to do this with his somewhat tarnished reputation. But that about concludes this video. This might be the last kind of video in this style, mainly because they take me like all week and they don't really get any more views than my other videos or anything. But I definitely think I am getting better at making videos and shit for sure. My next video idea is probably going to be something like me playing an old shitty game when I played when I was a kid or something and try to beat it now because I was complete dog shit and brain dead as a kid and never beat anything. But yeah.